Hey, my name's Anna and I like to read, and in this video I'm going to be doing a birthday book haul. So I've actually been on a book buying ban since January, but I decided to buy some books for myself at the end of February because it was my birthday, and I've since then gone back on a book buying ban. So I thought I'd share what books I got. So the first book that I got was Homebody, and this is a poetry collection, and I've actually already read it, and I really enjoyed many of the poems in this book. So the next book that I got is Dear Emmy Blue, and this follows Emmy Blue, who is in her 30s, and when she was 16 she released this balloon, and this guy found it and they began writing letters to each other and they became best friends. And now that they're in their 30s, she thinks that he's going to ask her out, but he's actually telling her that he's going to marry someone else, and he is asking her to be his maid of honor, or like his best woman, and she is devastated because she fell in love with him and she thought that he was going to ask her out. So the next book that I got was Real Life, and this is a literary fiction novel, and it follows Wallace, who is a Black queer man in Alabama who is attending graduate school, and he feels like he doesn't fit in with his straight white classmates at grad school, and it's about him navigating life and graduate school. So the next book that I got was Honey Girl, and this follows Grace, who just recently completed her PhD in astronomy, and she's not sure what she wants to do with her life, and she goes to Vegas for a night out with her friends, and she gets drunkenly married to a woman. So she decides to follow this woman to New York City while she also deals with life after grad school. So the next book that I got was Loveless, and this follows Georgia, who is Aero Ace, but she doesn't know those terms yet, and she goes to college and she doesn't understand why she's not interested in any sexual or romantic relationship, and she navigates college and finds out about those terms and what it means to be Aero Ace. So the next book that I got was The House on the Cerulean Sea, and this follows a social worker who is assigned to go to a magical school for misbehaved children, and he goes to check it out, and it's a fantasy but it's also a romance from what I heard, and it's an adult fantasy but written about children, and I'm excited to read this. The next book that I got was Interior Chinatown, and this follows Willis, who considers himself a generic Asian man in a movie, and he lives in Chinatown and it follows him from day to day. So this book is written in a script, like a movie script, and I'm interested in reading this and finding out what is actually going on. The next book that I got is the 20th anniversary edition of Speak. I really enjoyed Speak when I read it the first time in high school, and then I had to read the graphic novel adaptation of it in graduate school. And this is a story that follows a girl who was sexually assaulted at a party and then what happened afterward, and I really enjoyed this book and I wanted to have a 20th anniversary edition of this novel. The next book that I got is Happily Ever Afters. So this follows Tessa, who loves to write romance stories, but she gets into a prestigious writing program, and from then on she is in a writing slump slash writer's block, and she can't get any words on a page. So her best friend Caroline, who is the only one who reads her romance stories, decides that she can help Tessa by creating a romance for Tessa to live out. The next book that I got was Concrete Rose, and this is the prequel to The Hate You Give, and it follows Maverick, who is Star's father in The Hate You Give, and this follows him when he's 17 and he discovers that he is going to be a father. The next book that I got was The Girls I've Been. This follows Nora, who is the daughter of a former con artist. And for the past 5 years, Nora's been playing at normal after she got away from her mother. But she has 3 problems, because the first one is that Wes, who is her ex-boyfriend, walked in on her and her girlfriend. And the second is that even though they're all friends, he didn't know about them. And the third is that the next day they go into a bank to deposit the money they raised for a fundraiser, and it turns into a bank robbery. And basically they've been taken as hostages in this bank robbery, and Nora has to figure out a way how to get out of this situation. So she needs to dust off her skills that she put aside when she started playing normal after she got away from her mother. So I've actually already read this and I really enjoyed this book. The next book that I got is Supernatural Therapy, and this is a self-help book that uses supernatural as a guide. The next book that I got is The Hunt, and this is basically a collection of essays that look at supernatural and the psychology of the show, the psychology of the monsters, and the psychology of the characters. And it also has essays from fans of the show and what the show has meant to them. The next book that I got is Delicates, and this is a sequel to Sheets, which was the first graphic novel in this series, and it follows Marge after she discovered ghosts who were living in her laundromat and became friends with Wendell. And this follows her in the next school year, and she has become accepted by the popular kids, but they all pick fun at this girl named Elise, who is in Marge's class. And Elise feels invisible, and she loves ghosts, and she's interested in ghosts, and she takes photos of ghosts, and she feels invisible and as an outsider. And so Marge has to decide what to do. Does she keep hanging out with the popular kids who are bullying Elise, or does she say something? And is it worth losing her friendship with Wendell over the popular kids who she has become friends with? Also, I already read this graphic novel and I really enjoyed it. I liked the message of this book, and the art style was stunning and the illustrations are really beautiful. I actually think I like this more than the first one, Sheets. It was really great. And the last book that I got was After the Fall. So this follows Humpty Dumpty and what happened to him after the fall. And this is a children's picture book, and I already read it and I really enjoyed it. The illustrations were great. They were really beautifully drawn, and I also enjoyed the message in this picture book about standing up after you have fallen, and I think it's a great message for kids who would read this picture book. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. So those are all the books that I got. What books have you gotten recently? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you like this video, please subscribe, like, or comment, and I'll see you in another video soon.